Hello, it is Mitchell Lamar. Lamar. It is How are you? What's up? This is RV gone too far. Okay, we're gone too far. Welcome. And I had to start this up because it's time. It's time for me to I had like an unrest, civil unrest at the bottom, at the house of my soul, my spirit, my heart. Because, the world is crumbling. So it's like, this is the perfect time to say what has been on my mind for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is, it's, this is about the truth, and I want to reveal the truth. I feel like that's my purpose, is to reveal the truth. Yeah, I'm here to talk about something. There are theories about what I want to say. There's many theories, but only a few people know the truth. And I am one of those people. And let me tell you why. Yes. This is about the deep state. The deep state, okay? It's real. There are many theories about what it is, but they're not close to even finding the kernel. They're so far away. They're like 3 light years away from what the truth is. But I feel like it's time for me to speak up, because if I hold it any longer, there's not going to be any change, and that's not good. We need to progress forward as a species. We need to evolve to where we need to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's time. It is time. Yes, it's about the deep state. I will say I am a little. Oh, so how I know this information is because I used to be I'm a military veteran. Okay, I know I don't look it. Okay, but it's true. And I was in the Air Force, and I had a good high security clearance that was top secret. And there are other people who had higher clearances than I did. The people in the White House, the Pentagon, the door guys at the Comedy Store, they all have higher clearances than me. But I have been privy. I had the privilege, the luck to be able to know what's happening, what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really glad. I'm glad I'm able to just communicate what's going on, so I can help change the world. And I'm bringing on a series. This is going to be a series. I have a few comedians that will be coming on to discuss. The reason I chose comedians to discuss this huge whistleblowing of content, because they're also truth tellers. Yes, I'm also a comedian, but I am also a debunk of conspiracy theories. And the first one that I will be tackling is the deep state. My first guest for this series is Josh Edelman.
Let's hit the mic, let's go. I hit the dab high-low. I did it all for love. Sparkly love for you. I did it all for love. Sparkly love for you. For you. Hey! I did it all for love. Love, love, love. Sparkly love for you. For you. Here we go. Check
Hey, I can see your ring light in
In the
your
glasses.
glasses.
I'm trying to decide if that's like if it
Did
adds
you
to the
use the
effect or if
ring
it's
light when
dumb.
we did our podcast the other
Uh
day?
huh.
Were you using the ring light the other day for me, or is this special for you?
No, I was, but I wasn't wearing my glasses. I don't think.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it looked a little darker the other day
Did
when
it?
we were recording, and I was like, Mitchell just is like, no one watches Edelman's podcast. I don't need to do myself up for
Oh my gosh! Shut up, Josh.
it.
But Josh, hello. Okay, okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. This is Mitchell Lamar. I am RV Gone Too Far, and I am. This is a series that I'm really excited to. I'm scared to bring out to the public. I'm scared to bring out to the public because it's damning, but it's time to bring it out. I say, because the America is crumbling, so I think this is a perfect time to bring out all the information. You know what I'm saying? There's Me Too. There's like, it's like we're exposing what America really is, and I think it's time for me to do the same.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I was just thinking the other day, like, I don't think anyone is, and I hope nobody is getting their news from my podcast. But I also think not the worst place to get your news.
Mm-hmm.
There is worse than my podcast to get your news, even though you shouldn't be getting your news from my podcast.
Your
There
Twitter?
are quote unquote legitimate news sources
Uh huh.
that are worse places to get your news from than my podcast,
Mm-hmm.
which you shouldn't be using to get your news.
I honestly, I love getting my news from podcasts, especially ones that just they expose the truth. I think you
They
expose the
expose
truth.
they expose the truth that I've been alone in my apartment for 4 months now. And I'm losing my mind.
Well,
That's the truth.
are you ready for more truth? Truth, truth.
I'm ready for more truth. Bring it. Hit me with. Bring it.
All right, okay. Before we begin, I have to state that I don't know if you know this, but the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, the parchment was burned when it was burned by a politician. I can't say the name or Anonymous will assassinate me, and I'm not ready for that yet. I told them in a few more years, but it was burned. I'm telling you, it was burned after Donald Trump was elected because America ended in 2016. A lot of people don't know this, but it ended in 2016, and we are in a proxy country right now.
We're in a proxy country. What do you mean by that?
It's just a placeholder. It's a placeholder before we get to the next step. I can't reveal any more information.
The next what?
Huh?
Before we get to the next what?
The next step in our, evolution of as a country.
Um, you're saying America. Well, I definitely agree with you that America is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I think our passport is about to become like having a U.S. passport used to be the best thing.
Oh yeah, it
used
to
to
be
be
number one. Yeah.
used to be the best passport. You can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon, having a U.S. passport is gonna be meaning. I am like trying to like on my dating profile. So, like they ask the questions like, "We'll get along if," and I always like say, "You're Canadian and ready to tie the knot."
Uh-huh.
That's where I'm at. New Zealand, Canada, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Like, listen, marry me, and once my citizenship in your country is legitimate, you can have half my stuff.
Amazing.
What is half my stuff? Probably just half my debt. But you can have it. You can have it. Here's my legitimate prediction for the future.
Uh-huh.
I think that and this is with no like actual I'm not projecting any of my feelings about quote unquote cancel culture, whether it's real, whether it's fake,
Mm-hmm.
like whether I'm for it or against or anything. Forgetting all that, I think the future, we're going to live in a very divided entertainment industry, specifically in the stand-up world,
Yeah.
where clubs are going to decide like, hey, I don't give a fuck what this person did. I'm going to book them.
Yeah.
And then other comics that like haven't gotten in trouble are going to be like, well, then I don't feel safe at your club, so I'm not going there. And then that's going to become a thing where then that becomes publicized. And then all these comedians are going to be like, well, we're not going to go there anymore because they booked these monsters.
Yeah.
And
They're
what's
going to be
gonna
the
happen
conservatives
is
of the stand-up
the
world.
country is going to turn into this divided entertainment industry where you're going to have like the clubs with the undesirables, and then you're going to have, and like that's all that's there, like, you know, the clubs where
That's going to be the
some
Comedy
people are
Store.
gonna
That's
be
the
like,
Comedy
that's
Store.
Cool. Wait, what?
That's the Comedy Store.
The Comedy Store.
Is the
Well,
undesirables.
the Comedy Store might end up the undesirables store in Los Angeles, and then who knows? Maybe the Improv ends up being the Purity Club.
Okay.
And I use Purity Club and I use undesirables in quotes, and like you know, it's going to be tough to be somebody who sort of feels like, you know, I think it'll be a tough world to be a person who like is not trying to do anything wrong, but like also is fine to perform at a quote unquote undesirables club.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be like a forced division, like right down the line of like, you're either performing at these clubs or you're performing at these clubs. And that's kind of what my prediction for the future of the industry. I think a better solution would be like a way for retribution for some of these people, and I think that in large part has to do with them like legitimately wanting wanting to repent for the things they've done in a way beyond just wanting their quote unquote life careers back. But I don't see, I mean, especially with Trump still in office, I don't see, you know, I think a large part of like, you know, everyone wants to cancel everyone because we can't cancel the one person we all actually want.
Right.
To.
He's been
It's
he
we'll
was
cancel
canceled.
every other fucking show because we can't cancel 2.5 Men. What do you think?
I agree with you. There is going to be a separation within the stand-up community. It's already happened. It's begun. You know what I'm saying? The comedy war of 2020 is here. Undesirables and the Puritans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to go where undesirables. Undesirables, that's where I am. That's where I want to say.
You want to be in the undesirables camp?
Yeah.
You say you want to be into the undesirables. See, it's funny because the tragedy for me, my personal tragedy, is I feel like I decisively don't fit into either camp. Like, I feel like each side hates me with the same vigor.
Oh. Why?
I'm a man alone. I'm a man alone.
So you're like an independent. You're like the independent party within the political sphere of stand-up comedians.
Well, I guess what's funny is, you know, I think my sense of humor veers in the like alternative perspectives for controversial ideas, which is a big turnoff to I'd say like the purity crowd.
Oh, true.
And but contrary to that, it's like I don't support anyone who's doing things like we were talking about on my podcast the other day. Apparently, there are people who are out there doing mics right now, chanting or saying "fuck Josh Edelman," and it's like the people doing mics right now are definitely of the undesirable camp.
They are,
and they vocally dislike me, where I'd say the pure just ignore me on Twitter.
I know some of these undesirables, and they want to be able to say whatever they want. But you know, it's a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say I'm in that camp, but I am open. I'm understanding of different sides. You know, I understand the undesirables, and I understand the Puritans and the independent peoples.
Well, it's funny to me because, you know, when I say like the undesirable, like it's funny. There are differences. So it's like, you know, I'm saying it's like the people who have done something wrong, like actively done something bad. That people will be like, I don't want to go to a club where Louis is performing because I don't feel like that's a safe place for women to be
Mm.
because they're letting a admitted sexual assaulter into their club. Um, and then I think there's a difference between the quote unquote free speech people, and I have
Mm.
I have like a twofold feeling on that.
Okay.
On one
Yeah.
hand, I really love what Sarah Silverman said about it,
Mm-hmm.
which she's like, no topic, no joke, and I'm reinterpreting her joke. No, nothing should be like off limits,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of it's just hack at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's hack. So who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Who needs to hear your done before joke? It's like come up with something new.
Yeah.
Like is it funny? Is it actually funny? And then there's an interesting thing, and this is something I think about. For example, one of the people, I won't name them, who I
Name
believe
'em.
is one of the people that no actively dislikes me right now. Their material is very edgy.
Mm-hmm.
They say things that on stage that I think a lot of people would consider very cancelable. But I think that they're honest to who they are and where they come from.
Mm.
And it's like seeing this comedian, even though the stuff they're saying is wrong and offensive, is also a window into a different life that like lots of people couldn't even possibly understand.
Yeah.
Uh, um,
It becomes
and I
almost
think
like a
that
character to
you
see.
sorry, say that again.
It becomes almost like a character to see this other world that exists within reality.
Yeah, like I'd say that you, for example, your life is very unique.
It
You
is
have
boring.
a very unique worldview
Don't
compared
listen
to
to
the
Josh.
people who are privileged enough to be doing stand-up comedy. Um, so it's and I also don't really feel like you actually say anything that is legitimately offensive, but
I'm holding
I
back.
think you,
Just kidding.
huh?
I said I'm holding back. I'm just kidding.
You're holding back, but but your worldview, shaped by the experiences of your life, present a very unique perspective of this country and this world, and it's what makes you one of the more unique and interesting comics to watch out there.
Mm.
I struggle with finding my own unique voice that people will be interested in while growing up in the privileged environment that most people who feel safe doing stand-up comedy came from.
True. I think every comic has something unique to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about just putting it what I'm really excited what the series is. It's about the deep state and the truth about the deep state, Josh Edelman.
Okay.
Okay? I held a top secret clearance in the military. Okay? So I've been privy to many secrets. Okay? And I think it really is time to bring it out right now. And you're the first guest part of this series, Josh. And I'm going to tell you some things. I hope you're sitting down. You look like you're sitting. You're ready. Do you have water to do a spit take?
No, but it's okay.
Okay.
I'll puke. I'll just puke it out.
Oh. But yes, it's a lot of people like I did like a little individual kind of introduction video, but I'll reiterate here that a lot of people have different theories about what the deep state is, and they're wrong. It may be your family, it may be friends, but do they have a top secret clearance?
No.
Okay, so I mean, mine's not the highest. There's people in the Pentagon, people in the White House, the door guys at the Comedy Store. They have these high clearances. But I'm here to. Okay, so I lived in Turkey.
You know what the funny thing is, though, Mitchell?
What's that?
Any like super deep state conspiracists in this country, like 5 seconds of looking at you and hearing you talk, they're not going to believe a word you say.
See, this is my dilemma. That's my conundrum, okay?
Your conundrum is that the people who are ready to hear about the deep state are going to have no faith that you specifically had a top secret clearance.
And they're going to dismiss it.
They're going to dismiss it.
They're the ones that need to hear it because they can. Okay, it's fine. I've accepted that truth. But we're gonna move forward because as long as some people hear it. Okay, so I did live in Turkey between the years of 2010 and 2011. Okay, and during that time, I met a Turkish man who I'll keep anonymous. But Mahmoud, he worked for the intelligence community there. We met off Grindr. After I gave up my bosom, he told me that the political parties now are sponsored by Chuck E. Cheese. And I'm telling you, this sponsorship, the government allows middle-class families to, I guess, be spied. For the purpose of understanding what, the next generation will be gravitating towards as they get older.
I mean, that kind of checks out if you really consider all the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell stuff. They have all those government ties. She had like the Mossad agent father. Epstein was supposedly doing stuff. So the Chuck E. Cheese element to this, while it seems far-fetched, actually holds a lot of Pizzagate. Chuck E. Cheese is a pizza place.
Hello. Are you listening, viewers?
Are you listening to this gay black man and this Jew discuss confirm all your deep state fears?
They're coming to light, baby. They're coming to light. And you know what? It's funny because recently Chuck E. Cheese went bankrupt.
They went bankrupt. Just around the same time Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell get taken down. Coincidence?
Hello. People aren't ready for this. People, I'm scared. I'm gonna keep checking the doors. I change the locks every few weeks now to prepare for this upcoming series, this Deep State series.
I've never been to Chuck E. Cheese.
You're lucky.
As a kid, I always wanted to go super badly because I would see the commercials all the time, like Chuck E. Cheese's, where a kid can be a kid. And
not going to Chuck E. Cheese is a privilege.
Never went. I went to other probably better versions. My parents would take me to these better versions of it that we had in Florida, where I grew up. But it wasn't.
Did y'all have a Discovery Zone?
The brand appeal is really what gets you.
Yeah.
Because there's other places they didn't have the commercial. I go to Boomers. I mean, Boomers was a lot of fun.
Oh, is that it's kind of like a space like that, like Chuck E. Cheese?
Boomers was it had a huge video arcade, and then it had one of those a jungle gym type thing where you could crawl this whole space of ball pits and crawl. I mean, a total COVID nightmare. That place needs to be. They had bumper boats, and they had the racing cars, go-karts, and mini golf. Boomers was the best. And even when you became a teenager, Boomers was still fun. Honestly, I visited Florida not that long ago and took a trip to Boomers. I used to go with my girlfriend in high school. So Boomers was not deep state run. Chuck E. Cheese, you could tell Chuck E. Cheese's was the
it was run by these people, this elite, okay? Boomers, like that reminds me of a space that we had back home in South Carolina. It was called Discovery Zone. It was just like that. It was like a third party, like independent run. You know what I'm saying? And it was. I'm glad my parents took me there, and so I can see the other experience that was not Chuck E. Cheese. Because I feel like the experience of Chuck E. Cheese, it brainwashed me. I honestly think it brainwashed me to eventually sign the dotted line to join the military, to be a pawn in the
Chuck E.
game.
Cheese's did it.
Huh?
Chuck E. Cheese's did it.
Yep. Yep. It
How
all began.
frequently would you go to Chuck E. Cheese?
When?
When you were a kid, how often were you going to Chuck E. Cheese's?
I remember we went it was like all the time. I would say
All the
at least
time.
like once a month. And it's
Wow,
crazy because they had like other rooms. You could like go there for camp, and they had these rooms. It was weird. It was like we would sit in a chair. We would be isolated. We'd be tied up, and we'd be just watching like videos of Bush, and I don't know. I was too young to comprehend. It sounded like indoctrination, but I thought it was fun.
And you'd eat their Chuck E. Cheese pizzas. How were the Chuck E. Cheese pizzas?
They were, they were good. I think.
They were
You know
good.
what I'm saying? They tasted a little like they had something in them, like they were like drugging us a little bit. I felt a little too happy. You know what I'm saying? A little too happy. That's what I would go back. But because I never experienced that taste. It was only at Chuck E. Cheese. It was never at the Discovery Zone that was also down the street.
So the Discovery Zone didn't put the additives in
No.
in their pizza to keep you going back to continue.
And that's why I think back then I was an introvert. You know, it kept me. You know what's that movie? The book The Giver, where they're like they eat something and it like represses all their feelings.
Okay.
That's what Chuck E. Cheese was.
Repressed all your feelings.
Yeah. People looked happy in there, but it's like it's it's coordinated.
I went to a private school growing up, of course, and
we can tell.
I was like one of the scholarship students at the school, so we used
Ooh.
to have these meetings, and the owner of our school, who was like super involved with it, would keep bringing in like Republican politicians to like talk. Like Jeb Bush would come in and give us like these like speeches, and they were like, the funny thing was like all of us were like kind of too smart for it.
Uh-huh.
We'd all we were all mostly pretty liberal in there, and we would always like think it was bullshit and crazy, and it honestly turned us off more to it than it did like appealing. But it was also interesting how it appealed to them, like how they thought that would work on us. How if they really wanted us to be conservatives, they should have really been pushing liberal stuff on us, because that's all kids want to do is rebel against whatever's going on at school.
That's a good point. It's like they want to make sure they can like touch. Like a marketing, like the marketing team, they have to make sure they hit every market to make sure they.
What if our teachers? What if the owner of our high school that we hated was like, abortion is good, get abortions? I'd be like, we can't be having abortions.
You can't.
But instead,
why is
telling
that?
us abortion is evil, I'm like, I don't know about something seems fishy about all this abortion is evil talk.
Wait, what grade were you in? You said high school.
High school.
Wow. Honestly, I think that's too. I think people shouldn't learn about abortion.
Shouldn't learn about abortion?
No.
Why?
Because it's I can't speak on that yet. It's not, Anonymous will kill me.
Are you religious, Mitchell?
I am not.
Were you?
I went to school. I went to like I grew up in a religious household, and with it's like the whole story of you grew up gay in a religious household, so it's like you kind of
was that difficult with your parents?
I would say yes.
You'll say yes.
Yes.
But do you still have a relationship?
Yes. We
That's good. That's
have,
good.
I would say
Not
there's
to
like
get too
a
not to get
quiet
too deep on this deep
reconciliation.
state podcast.
Huh?
Not to get too deep in this deep state podcast.
No, it's all connected. You know what I'm saying?
But you guys do still have a relationship. That's good. That's good. That's
Yes,
good. I'm
yes.
happy to hear that.
It's a quiet reconciliation is what I like to say. But I'm
Mhm.
not religious. I think no one should know what abortion is.
When I was in my last relationship, it was like, um, if my girlfriend got pregnant, I'm kind of like, I'm 35 at this point.
Mm.
Like, like, not that I think there's anything wrong with her getting an abortion at this stage of our life, but like, it's also just kind of like, should I have the kid?
Wait, abortion has to do with babies.
What?
Abortion has to do with babies?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're in high school and you aren't even aware of abortion and you get pregnant, I'm like, that's the time to get the abortion. That's the time where like you have your whole life ahead. You haven't failed at your dream yet. Like it's probably, I'm not saying, everyone should make their own decision, but you should be familiar with the options.
Oh, I thought abortion was rejecting getting a PlayStation over an Xbox. It's to do with keeping the baby or not. Oh, okay, I agree. Abortion should be known to society. Josh, okay. So my battery camera it's about to run out
A classic situation for
for
Mitchell
Mitchell Lamar.
podcasts, as I've learned.
um, so I
You
think
gotta get a plug. You gotta get a plug for it.
yeah, that's what I was looking. I think honestly, I think it's the deep state. It doesn't want me to get more information out, so I think we're gonna have to resume. But I'm glad I got this information out to the world. And Josh, before we go, can you please plug your social medias?
Oh yeah. Follow me on the Edelmeister, TheEdelmeister, on Twitter, on Instagram.
Follow his
Uh,
Twitter.
yeah, follow me on Twitter.
Please do.
Whatever. I'm actually titling our episode of the podcast "Twitter Bitter."
I love it.
You can listen to my podcast Quarantine. Quarantine. I was the first person to come up with the name of that podcast, but like there's like 8 of them now. It's very frustrating.
You're the
It's
rich.
not the first one that comes up. You'll see a picture of my face with a mask with like a frown where like a hole in it and a COVID brain and a bunch of frustrating stuff on the top. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Mitchell was my most recent guest. That episode, I'm trying to release it tomorrow, aka Thursday.
I feel
We'll see if I get it done
lit.
today. And I've got a movie, Mentally Out documentary that might come out at some point. Got a web series, Best Friends web series, also on YouTube and on my Instagram. And yeah, I don't know. I'll post stand-up clips. To remember what it was like to do it, and continue to pursue things amid this meaningless time in the world.
This chaotic world we're living in. But we can do it. All right. Well, thank you,
Thanks
Josh.
so much
Thanks
for
for
having
coming.
me, Mitchell. This was a blast. And like I said, always, my goal in stand-up is to be my podcast guest self, less so than my host.
I think you're there, honestly.
Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate it.
All right. Mwah. See you next time.